There are 8 things you have permission to quit doing after you're 60. Hi, this is Burl. Welcome back to my channel. Old, retired, but still learning. As you go along through life, you pay your dues, so to speak. You you work. You take care of your family. All those things, and all those things definitely have a time and a place there in your life. But after you get to a certain age, I think there are some things that need to sort of drop off, or at least curtail. Um, when you're younger, you're taking care of everybody else. You're earning money. You're putting food on the table. You're doing that type of thing. But you do have the right, though, after a while, to let go of a lot of things. So we're going to get started here, and I want you to stick around to the end, because I may throw a bonus in there. Number one is to stop over saving. Now, I'm not telling you to not be cautious with your money. Of course, you need to be cautious with your money. With your retirement, I'm not saying go out there and spend all of your retirement money, blow it on things, that type of thing. But take a certain amount and enjoy the fruits of your labor. What you accomplished over the years. Maybe travel more or something like that. Whatever it may be. Do you need a plan? Sure. But, I think sometimes I know people who are, in their 70s or 80s now, and they still just penny pinch like crazy. So, again, I'm not telling you to overspend or anything like that, or spend all your retirement savings, but, enjoy some of it. Number 2 would be stop spending money on things that don't bring you joy. Just think back on the last, $1,000 that you spent. How much of that was on something that really brought you joy? Instead, maybe we need to focus a little more on the things that really bring joy. Time with family and friends, being outside, when weather permits, and just enjoying the time that you do have. So, something else to think about is, what really brings you joy. And, with the spending part, spend with intention, and not, not just be frivolous, in other words, or, spending money on things that don't really mean anything anymore. Number 3 would be to stop pretending to be someone that you're not. And I think that's an easy trap to fall into. When you're out in the workforce and everything, you got to be a certain way. Let's say you're working, I don't know, at a store or something, and the manager of the store comes in. You act, at least I know I did, totally different than, when he or she wasn't there. So, it's exhausting to try and be someone that you're not. It's unnecessary. Just be real with people. Not everyone is going to like you. I know that is something that I struggled with, for many years, was, someone, oh, they won't like me. But, and I don't mean this flippantly, but who cares? After a while, you really do get that way when you get older. Maybe some people are fortunate enough when they're younger, but I know for me it's taken many years for me to kind of get to that point. And again, I don't mean anything disrespectful towards anyone, but I get to the point sometimes where I'm like, who cares? It's all right. It's all right. Number 4 would be closely related to that, and that's stop putting yourself down. You know, I've done that too. Something I've struggled with and have gotten much better with. And so, I think part of that that will help with this is to surround yourself with positive people as much as you possibly can. So, please don't put yourself down. Find good things to think about pertaining to yourself. Surround yourself with good people who are willing to uplift you. It's not that, we're all imperfect and, we don't do everything right, but it's okay. Number 5 is another one that took me a long time, and that is to stop worrying so much. I know the Bible tells you many times to not worry. Don't be fearful. You get caught up in the what ifs. What if this happens? Especially when you're thinking about the future. What if this happens in the future, and so on? And the worry sets in, and you haven't even gotten there yet. And then with the past, you can still worry about the past, something that maybe you think you said or did to someone. Now, if it is something that needs to be remedied, then that's fine. But we worry so much also, I think, about the past and what we did, and it's time really, to let all of that go. Number 6 is maybe a little bit controversial, and that is to stop overly supporting grown adult children, your children. It's not, and I'm not talking necessarily so much about being encouraging to them and supporting them in that way, but mainly financially. If they are able to support themselves, then they should. Now, if you're, financially stable and you can help them maybe with a down payment on something, a car maybe, or maybe even a house, to get them going, things like that, use discretion. But, I know a lot of people who bail their children out of everything. It doesn't matter what it is. Instead of letting them struggle a little bit and figure out what it means to be an adult and to be responsible. So that's another one. Number 7 is stop taking your health for granted. I had to learn this when I was about 60 with the health problems I was having. And, at least I did. I carried the, I'm invincible mentality well into my 50s. I guess in a way maybe I knew I wasn't, but there was a part of me that still thought I was, it's all fine. It's all good. But, you can't do that. And the earlier you realize that, the better. It's a fact that the body's, eventually you'll die one day, and I'll die, and, the body breaks down, but you have to at least try to take care of it the best you can, all your life, until the day you die, really. And hopefully you just die peacefully in your sleep at the age of 100 or something like that. But anyway, stop taking your health for granted and do something. Be active. Maybe change what you eat if you need to, so on. But definitely be active and keep yourself moving, keep your body moving. Number 8, stop taking your time for granted, because that's coming to an end. And when you think about it, if you retire around the age of 60, with life expectancy the way it is, you've got about 1,000 more weeks to go. Now, when you think of it in that broad scope, that seems like a lot of time, but it will pass quickly. I'm 67, and I'll talk to my dad, who's 90 now, about how fast time goes, and he always says, "Wait till you get my age." So it seems to pick up and go faster as you get older. So don't take that time for granted. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your life, and just be what God wants you to be. I said I might give a bonus, and I think I'm going to. It's number 9. So the extra bonus would be and this one I really am big on, stop holding grudges. Grudges do you no good, and the other person may not even feel any kind of repercussions from it anyway. And most of all, though, it really does you harm. I just want to read briefly from Romans chapter 12, verses 17 through 19. Recompense to no man evil for evil, provide things honest in the sight of all men. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, Vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. And I want to focus a little on verse 18 there. If it be possible. It might not be possible that you can always live peaceably with someone. So do the best you can. If you have to distance yourself from that person, then that's what you have to do, even if it's a family member sometimes. And then verse 19, don't avenge yourself. It doesn't do any good. So those are kind of the 8 plus 1 bonus, so 9 things I wanted to go over with you. It's never too late to turn things around. I think we all know that. I had my list here. What's your list, or is there something else I missed, or something you don't necessarily agree with? Let me know in the comments. If you like this content, please subscribe and gently tap the like button, and I'll catch you on the next episode.